So skeptics don't start wars, huh? I guess I'll go with that. It seems right. But then again, pacifism can become as much a dogma as anything else, right? So maybe skeptics are open to the possibility of starting wars if a particular situation presents itself in which it seems most appropriate to respond violently, such as when someone has violently attacked you, right? So skeptics don't start wars unless provoked. And you did say that it's the preemptive wars that skeptics avoid. And I'm agreeing with you here. I think the greatest, arguably the greatest, let's just say one of the greatest metaphysicians of the 20th century, Martin Heidegger, was a Nazi, an unrepentant Nazi. So it seems clear that, at least in that particular case, metaphysics did lead to um, a very frighteningly narrow, self-serving point of view. Um, but here's the problem, and here's why. Heidegger, irrespective of his political implications, is philosophically very important, um, and even why what happened in World War II is philosophically important. I mean, if we think about what the project of the Enlightenment was, um, of modern philosophy, it was really to rationalize human life, and both in the most rational sciences, physics, and in politics and world affairs with World War I and World War II, it was made blatantly obvious that the world cannot be rationalized, nor can the human being, who is both, as Heidegger pointed out, the human being is a being in the world that is somehow related to being itself. What we think of as existence in general is intimately linked with um, human being, a specific species of being. And so for Heidegger, the human is somehow special. The human can enter discourse and understand the world. Nothing else, no other beings can do that we know of. And so for the human being, there is this metaphysical problem, namely, what is being? And when you ask a question like that, for Heidegger, it's not that you have to give a mythological answer to that question necessarily, as we did in the Middle Ages, when being was God, our Father, who art in heaven, and who gave birth to a son, which is where Christianity becomes really um, more than a mere religion. To understand what it means for um, Christ to have existed on the earth, for God to have, or Spirit to have incarnated fully into a material body, you've got to become a philosopher. That's a metaphysical problem, not a religious problem that could be solved by mere belief. Belief or faith may be a component of its solution, um, but unless you philosophically engage it, your faith will be empty. It'll be unwarranted. You won't know what you're believing in. Um, so Christianity, understood in that esoteric sense, becomes philosophy, and Heidegger could be said to be part of the culmination of um, Christianity and philosophy, in that he gave us, or at least opened the possibility for our understanding being in a philosophical way, in an ontological way, in a conscious way, rather than a merely believed way, as um, we did when we were religious in a pre-modern, irrational, medieval way. Um, so, of course, metaphysics have to be more than religion, more than belief in something that can never be experienced. Um, which is why, phenomenology, or the study of phenomena as they are, of things in themselves, is a study of experience, or perception, we could say. But the problem with using the term perception is that that word has a philosophical history, where it sort of implies receiving something pre-made, something pre-given, and that pre-given isn't really talked about. Um, this is in my comment to you on the video about John's metaphor, Math Fails' metaphor of the paper and tracing the leaf onto it. The reason we have to ask about the thing itself, about the leaf itself, is that talking about an impression or a perception has already implied that there is something doing the pressing. And so it's the very word perception, and referring to something called perception, that requires saying something about the unperceived, the cause of the perceived, which is its effect. So perception is this sense of passively receiving as being a mere effect of something given. And so the question arises necessarily, what is given? What is being itself? What is there? And once we've established that, we can talk about how we come to know it. In fact, establishing what reality is also coming to know it. So our ontology and our epistemology aren't separable in any easy way. So, I'm a skeptic and an empiricist in the sense in which Edmund Husserl improved upon the skeptical method of Descartes. I'll post some links that will explain what that means. Husserl basically thought that Descartes didn't go far enough in his meditation. In his meditations, he didn't doubt everything. He reduced experience to the soul, but not to the I, to this transcendental point of being that which thinks, behind all phenomena, that which allows light to show phenomena to begin with. Husserl wants to bring us back all the way to that, to doubt everything but that which knows in its purest sense. And Descartes only went to that which thinks, that which has thoughts, the soul, in other words, not far enough to the spirit or the pure consciousness that Husserl wants us to go to fully doubt, to become a skeptic in its essential sense. So, yeah, I'll post a link that will tell you more about Husserl and Descartes and what I'm trying to explain here, because I've just been reading about it for a paper about basically what our experience of the earth as it shows itself immediately in experience is. How to get back to what you would call perception, Piro, but what I would call the things in themselves. How to get back to reality as we experience it. So yeah, I'll post a link to that too, and let me know what you think. Thanks for listening.